Is there a big event just over the horizon? Clif High's extreme tension event for July. Hi there, crypto fans. Hi there, Woo fans, remote viewing fans. Dick Allgire here in Ethereum Place, the place bought by cryptos. Okay, I don't want to imply that Clif High took part in this tasking or that he has any knowledge of it or that he endorses it. We did this independently. We watch Cliff's work, and we have worked with him in the past, but he was not a part of this, so I'm not implying his endorsement here. He's predicting something just over the horizon, an extreme event that his web bots are all a Twitter, that's a bad word, all a buzz, they're flashing red about something that he thinks is going to happen in mid-July. So we are remote viewers. We use remote viewing to look at historical events, to look at future events, to look at cryptocurrencies, all manner of interesting mysteries, and we do it under a double-blind protocol. So we were tasked, double-blind, with Clif High's impending event in July, this extreme tension event. And we just debriefed it. And I want to play about 15, 20 minutes of us finding out what the target was and our reaction to it. This is not going to show you the data, I want to warn you up front, but it's an interesting conversation where we find out about how it was tasked and what we were doing, and our reaction is pretty good. So here's a segment of the debrief where we learned that we were looking at Clif High's high tension event for July.
So just to be clear now on the target, this is Cliff is saying, or Cliff's data is showing a huge tension release, like he's
Yeah.
got the tension level thing.
Yeah, I
He's
still
going
don't
from,
fully I still don't fully understand how he calculates his trajectories or his predictions, whatever, but he's getting release language buildup and he's getting an indication of July 15th or 16th timeframe. I think he's saying the 15th, but in that area. And so it was a significant spike. And so the future forecasting team wanted you guys to take a look ahead and see
does Cliff know we did this?
what's that?
Does Cliff know we did this?
I don't know. I wasn't a part of those conversations.
This
Double
team is kept, we're
double
kept
blind.
blind protocol, so we don't know who it is. We have no idea what's going on. They might have been.
But yeah,
Wow.
double blind would mean that Cliff doesn't know we're working it either.
Well, no,
So it would be it would have gone into a basket and he would have just been like, okay, they have it for Q, but he wouldn't know that we're working it right now.
double
So
blind means, yeah, we don't know who it's from. So double blind
and
means
Sean
somebody
doesn't know.
somebody picks it, they give it to a
Mhm.
targeteer, the targeteer gives it to us, so all we get is the target ID. But
Right.
I'll find out if Cliff, I'll email Cliff and
Because
find out.
he's
I'm
been,
sure we'll have a follow-up.
I'm sure we will, because he's been talking like hyper novelty and all kinds of
We
Well,
should have
that kind of stuff.
we should have invited him here for this.
yeah, well, we'll try to get him on.
Yeah.
But our sessions were kind of hyper novel.
They were kind of hyper novel.
Yeah.
I mean, you
But
guys
I
have
But the
really,
but the
here's
correlation is stunning though.
yeah,
I mean,
especially with the
Edward and
craft.
Daz, you guys both got the idea that there's some big event that's with just a total blind tasking, nothing but a number.
Yeah.
You
Yeah.
guys described the
What's
tasking.
weird for me is literally, I did that a week or so ago, and then today I did my news thing for next month, and it's all there on Asana, record stands, and it's got the exact same stuff in that as I had in this on repeated for what I think is going to be news in July without me knowing that this target was a July target.
So that would indicate, I mean, essentially you remote viewed the same target with different IDs without knowing it.
Yes.
Because
Yeah.
you're looking at what you just presented here was the event that Clif High thinks will be significant not just in July, but significant in a really big sense. And then you're looking at July events. So if it's that big, it'll be the big event in July. So yeah,
Yeah.
you were doing.
That's what shocked me is seeing it and thinking, holy shit, I've got the exact same thing twice from two
That's
different taskers
interesting.
for the same target.
Yeah, that's really interesting because you have an actual target ID for what we just did.
Yeah.
And the near future events is a slightly different variation of a protocol. It's a different set of protocols because you're really just like opening up the aperture for what happens in the next 30 or 40
Yeah.
days, right?
And coming into this today, I didn't even think that both sessions were similar because I can't even remember what I did 2 weeks ago. So
Right.
seeing it now, and I was thinking, oh shit,
Oh,
this is
hey,
So
what I
yeah,
did.
Daz, you didn't think while you were doing the future event session, oh, I'm getting bleed over from that session I did 2 weeks ago. You never thought that. You
No, I
just
never thought about it because I do so many RV sessions. It goes, once it's gone, it's gone. I can't even remember what I've done usually.
yeah.
yeah.
Put it down and
That's a
move
good
on.
habit to be in,
It's
though.
literally what, as we were live on air, I was watching it. I was thinking, fuck, I did all this today.
Oh, wow.
So I was just sat there looking at my RV thinking, oh fuck, I've done it twice now.
Yeah, so
Well,
there
we'll
you go,
see.
folks. You saw it here first. What's coming down the pike for July.
I hope you guys have done your
See.
July one because this might make it really hard for you to do your July news now.
Yeah, good luck. I got to sit down and do that target tonight. Like, okay,
No,
think about it.
I'm doing mine tomorrow.
Oh,
I'm pretty
you're all
much
fucked.
yeah, that's all right.
Well, I mean,
Uh,
we had a really tight timeline to get because with editing and getting this stuff out, we knew that we needed to get this done quick because July 15th is right around the corner. And
when
we
when is this going to
Yeah.
publish? Will this publish this
I'm
Friday?
not sure.
We don't. We're the
Yeah.
we're the blind lab rats. They just put
Yeah.
us in a maze and let us find the cheese. We have no idea of the design of the experiment.
I
But
just work here,
we
man.
we need to talk to Clif High.
Yeah.
Call
Calling
him.
Clif
Dick,
High.
yeah,
Cliff.
Dick, can you call him? You should call him. Invite him in.
Uh, I'll
Shit,
email him.
we have
I'll
another
email
hour.
him. It's hard to get Clif High on a. It's not that easy. He's not just
Mhm.
like, hey Cliff, come on Zoom.
Yeah,
It's a
he's a
little
busy
more.
man.
But I would think he'd. Yeah, we'll get a hold of him.
Interesting
We're,
data though, all round.
we're
Yeah.
When I
yeah.
saw the pyramid data, I was thinking, when I saw you guys have pyramids, that and Edward's stuff with invisible craft, I have to be honest, my first thoughts on that was it looks like it might be some kind of stealth craft involved, because the stealth craft are kind of like triangular pyramid shaped and they're invisible as well. We know they go on bombing runs and stuff, so
Well,
if
yeah,
something's going to happen,
Okay.
yeah,
Okay,
you know
so
that.
let me just clue the audience because I might put this out on YouTube. We were just tasked double blind. Cliff High thinks something big there's going to be a big tension release event in mid-July, and we were tasked to remote view that. And we're recording this on what's today, the 18th or the 19th?
19th.
19th.
Yeah, I'm always a day behind. Okay, it's the
June
19th.
19th.
And so we're going to publish that. We just debriefed it and we need to edit it and we'll publish it probably on the 21st. Oh, the solstice. We'll put this, yeah. Daz, go over to Stonehenge and do a little ceremony. Go burn your session at dawn at Stonehenge or something. No,
They
anyway,
paint
so
that
we did
orange.
this thing. We did this session for Cliff High, and you're gonna have to tune in at Future Forecasting Group to see the full debrief and then see what Cliff's reaction is. We're just um putting it out right now. It's our first exposure to it. So there we go. Woo.
it literally is one of those shocking ones, isn't it? We don't get them very often, but when we get these high correlation shocking
Yours
ones,
was
it's like, whoa.
shocking. Yeah.
You know
Yeah.
what was interesting is didn't Cliff High think that Cheyenne Mountain was a target when we were doing our luminosity stuff? And what kind of I thought was interesting is you guys had the pyramid shape, which is like a mountain shape, and Dick, right next
I
to the
had Cheyenne
pyramid.
Mountain in that session.
Did you?
Well,
Yeah.
Did you
I
say Cheyenne Mountain?
Yeah, I did.
Oh God.
So
and
hang on.
what's in Cheyenne Mountain, do you suppose?
You gotta
It's
go
supposed
and
to be
you
a
gotta get a
white
subscription and
hat
go watch the
place.
video.
That Derek said that with such a deadpan. What do you suppose in Cheyenne Mountain? Derek works for
Blah 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 blah.
the conversation, the defense control. The
So,
gee,
but
So it's NORAD. NORAD Northern Command is Cheyenne Mountain.
the
So
so
entrance,
we had people
it's
tracking shit.
That's
Yeah.
pretty
Oh
much what I
man.
had in there.
it's
That is
nor
what I had in there.
yeah,
Yeah.
NORAD Northern Command tracks basically not just Northern Command area of operation, which would be continental North America, but
Well,
NORAD, it fabled, has global control over airspace.
That's
Um,
kind of
they
what's
track
so
Santa
special.
Claus every Christmas Eve. I know that.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Even Santa
So
doesn't fly on
so
our
the
radar.
entrance has like an arch to it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
And Nyiam was getting like the underground base aspect. So there's some stuff that's reminiscent of Cheyenne Mountain in there.
yeah. So if the people being exposed to this outside of our private site rush to our private site, futureforecastinggroup.com, this will be a few days before we publish it, but you can go look at some of our other stuff and be amazed, and then you can watch this. This is one we're going to look at if we're all still here in a few
August
months.
1st. August 1st.
August 1st, we'll look back at and comb through this data and
Well,
see.
you know what this reminds me of is that I think it was in the 90s when there was an announcement made by the current president, and the announcement was that the world of classified data has now exceeded in, terabytes or whatever the quantity of saved data on the internet, whatever. The world of classified data now exceeds the world of unclassified data. So what everybody thinks is real or we think is just our normal life is a fraction of what really exists out there. And so when we talk about things like we do our woo targets and we do, some of these other targets for, like Clif High. I think it's probably it's probably common knowledge for people who track this type of thing that there's at least 1,500 underground cities across Earth. In fact, there's a book. God, let me think of the name of it. When we invaded Germany to win World War II with the Russians, they found over 600 underground caverns full of research facilities. And that was in the 1940s in one country alone, in Germany. And so here we are, X number of years later, it makes sense that there'd be at least 1,500, if not even a network of underground places. So it's never surprising to me when we pick up on stuff like this.
And they're connected by maglev trains. There's tubes so they can go from like Denver to Washington in like real fast.
Yeah. Elon and the Boring Company, it's like, he knew right how to get in on that. You just set up the most boring company in the world and you just
Okay, well, this will be one to watch. Be one to watch.
I'm looking forward to June
attention,
now, man, I have
Clif
to
High.
say.
Attention, Clif High.
I'm excited for the July near future events now.
I can't wait. I can't wait to share my news one with you guys because I'm looking through it now, and I'm not trying. I even mentioned most of Clif High.
Don't tell us. Don't tell us.
But in my session, I mentioned Clif High's tasking in my RV session. I don't mention him by name, but I mentioned his tasking for that target we just done in my RV session, looking for the news in July.
Wow.
Well,
okay.
Yeah, thanks for the front loading, Daz.
I think you're front loaded enough already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go get them, boys. All right. Calling Clif High. Calling Clif High. Well, you know who else I got to see is Jean-Claude Beyond
Yeah.
Mystic. He's got to have us. We'll have to do a segment with him. So, Edward and I just did the rents program, and Daz, you were the headliner on that. Not we're peddling fear porn, but you were the top story on rents for a few days with your first strike. You had June
Oh.
data. Yeah.
So yeah, June 9th, we're waiting. It's gonna drop anytime. June 19th.
Well, yeah, it's coincidentally quite much like what this stuff is as well. So
Yeah.
maybe it was a bit of early
Might have
bleed
been
through.
picking up next
All
month.
right.
What are those things, the sticks that people use that go like this or this?
Dowsing.
Housing rods.
Dowsing
Dowsing.
rods.
I saw somebody doing a dowsing rod thing and they were asking questions and they were like, is Iran free in the next 20 years? And the dowsing rods cross for a yes. So made me wonder. Not, it's just one thing and crazy person maybe, but you never
Right.
can tell. I find it very difficult to believe that with all of the power that we have as not just a country, the United States, but let's call it the English speaking nations, right? So what do they call them? The Five Eyes or seven something, or there's a term for it. Some of these other really, I don't know, some of these countries that are just way out in left field, I think see a course correction. I don't think they're going to come in and suddenly win, and we're going to be living in this weird world, dystopian reality. So, anyways,
What would the dowsing rod say if we ask if America is free?
good question.
The sticks break.
Dick, the most free I have ever
Start on
felt
fire.
was on travel with some close friends in Thailand. That was probably the most freedom I've ever known.
Well, Thailand means free land. Okay. Sean, pause this because we want to do a segment for founders only. So just to give me can you stop this?
Yeah, we'll cut out here for everybody. And thanks everybody for joining us for a fun round. We'll catch you on the next one. And for founders, we're going to have an extra segment for you guys. So stay tuned. All right.
You can see the full, about a 90-minute debrief at futureforecastinggroup.com. Yes, that is behind a paywall because these days there are some things that's being restricted what you can say in public. If you go behind a paywall in a private site, you pretty much can give all the real data. So we do that at futureforecastinggroup.com. That's one way to avoid censorship. We put it in a private site. So see the full debrief today, and I need to give this to Clif and see what he thinks. And we'll know one way or the other. I mean, we could be off. We could all be off. But I'll tell you, my relationship with Clif High goes back to, I heard him on a late night radio show in 2007 talking about a big event that he was forecasting for the fall of 2008. And I did a remote viewing project on that. And Clif correctly identified the 2008 financial collapse. He had it chapter and verse, amazing details. His web bot predicted that amazingly well, and I've been watching his work since then. And we've been trying to kind of mirror it with our remote viewing, so you can see all of our work at futureforecastinggroup.com. Daz Smith, his sessions will scare your pants off. Edward Riordan and I had corroborating data about okay. So we're going to stand back and watch and see what happens in July. We are headed to some really interesting times, really interesting. Buckle up, futureforecastinggroup.com. Aloha.